This is Heather from SalesFolk, and I am going to critique a bad cold email I just got that deserves to be on the SalesFolk Cold Email Hall of Shame. And as you can see from the subject line, brainstorming around AI, all caps, I knew it would be a funny one. So the person that wrote this email to me, I have no idea who they are. They say that we've been connected on LinkedIn for a while. However, I am connected to a lot of people on LinkedIn that I don't really know that well. And the longer LinkedIn has been around, the longer I have my account, the more people I add, the less I actually know those people. So this idea that a LinkedIn connection really truly means something isn't necessarily true. If they had something more than just a LinkedIn connection with me, like they've interacted with me or read my articles or commented on something I wrote or anything else along those lines, it might be a little bit different, but just saying that we're connected on LinkedIn doesn't mean anything at all. So that's number one, and that's a good lesson for everyone out there. Number two, this email is so generic, jargony, and vague. It's completely self-focused. They're talking about what they do, which is something with artificial intelligence and some solutions around that. They talk about their data scientists having PhDs and masters. I guess that's some sort of social proof, but without context, without making it relevant to my problems or explaining how it will make my life better, talking about rocket scientists, nuclear physicists, systems engineers, or engineering doesn't mean anything to me. So I can tell pretty quickly this is a generic boilerplate canned template that's all about them, quite jargony, honestly pretty boring to read, and I'm a huge nerd, so imagine the average person getting this. Also, they're capitalizing things in a really weird way, like nuclear physics and optimizing ICBMs and supply chains to predicting failures of nuclear reactors and industrial assets should not be capitalized the way it is. It looks like the title of a weird white paper. Also, they're just cramming way too much into this single email of features that don't really make themselves clear how they would be valuable or relevant to me in any way. And then the part that I love, that I find really funny, is that they claim to have read over my profile and that they can envision multiple synergies between our teams, yet if they knew anything about me or my business, they probably wouldn't be making that claim. They probably wouldn't be reaching out to me at all because I have no idea how what they do will relate to my business in any way. On top of that, even if there was some way, they're not making it clear in this email, so there is zero reason that I want to respond to this person. Not only that, I now want to look at them on LinkedIn and possibly remove them as a connection because they're someone that is not genuine and they are going to spam me with lazy garbage. So that also shows something about them. And the other thing I want to mention with this is that it is okay to use your LinkedIn connections if they seem relevant to start conversations, but two things. One, don't assume that you really have a relationship with these people unless you do, and then you should probably, or at least think about potentially customizing this email more to have a quick phrase or sentence that indicates that you know them. And probably not if you know them really well, but if you barely know them, mention that article that they wrote or that conversation you had at that conference way back when to jog their memory, because you can't assume that they know who you are, remember, or care. Number two, if you are going to reach out to people in your LinkedIn network, don't just carpet bomb everyone in your network. That is how you get a bad reputation in your network really fast. So if they had thought about who their buyer persona or their ideal customer was, or their target audience, whatever they're trying to accomplish here, and they had thought about that criteria and only reached out to LinkedIn contacts that met that criteria or fell into those range of characteristics of people it made sense for them to talk to, not only would they have better results, but they would be protecting their valuable connections from having those people become annoyed at them. And I'm not just talking about myself. I mean, I really don't care or take it personally. The reason I point this out is because even if people aren't saying something to this person like, hey, this is annoying or obnoxious, or, you need to be a little bit more genuine with your relationships, people are thinking it. So even if this person did generate some conversations from this email, they really need to think about the value of their network and long-term relationships, and not just burning them or wasting them on things that aren't really going to go anywhere with really untargeted generic messages like these. But that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this cold email teardown. I am Heather R. Morgan, the CEO and founder of SalesFolk. Happy cold emailing. Cheers.